because you wouldn't be alive. That's something to think about the next time you take weed. Did you know weeds make food? Even a weed is a food factory. The most wonderful factory that man has ever built isn't half as wonderful as this small factory. A weed may not make food that you like to eat, but it makes food just the same. If we look at a drawing, we can see how pieces of equipment for making food are the roots, the stems, and the leaves. Each does its part. Out of all the materials in the world, a plant makes its food from just three things. It uses something in the air, it uses water, and it uses minerals in the soil. You'd starve if you had to eat these things, but a plant can make all its food to live and grow from only air, water, and minerals. Perhaps you've done the experiment in class where you plant seeds in it and keep them wet with blot paper. If you will put the jar aside for 3 or 4 days to let the plants grow. If you could speed up the plant's growth, it would look like this. As the root goes down, hundreds of root hairs grow out from it. These root hairs reach out and get water and minerals from the soil. Of course, you won't actually be able to see the root grow, but if you look closely with a magnifying glass, you can see how many and how tiny the root hairs are. If we look at a drawing again, you can see how the roots do their job. Here is a very large picture of just one root hair. The walls of the root hair are very thin and are made so water and minerals can pass through. Water soaks into the ground and dissolves the minerals. The water and minerals are first absorbed by the root hair, then pass into tubes at the center of the root. Here they begin their journey up out of the ground. They flow up through the larger roots, through tubes in the stems, and finally into the leaves. You can find the tubes in a stalk of celery easily. Can you see them here? There is an experiment that you may want to do to show that the tubes celery stand in some speed up the way the ink goes into the tubes. This would get red like this. It takes 2 or 3 hours for this much ink to get up into the stalk. The ink goes on up in the leaves. In a leaf, the tubes are called veins. The veins in leaves make wonderful designs. Hold some leaves up to the light and you can see. The veins branch out and become smaller and smaller until the water and minerals are carried to every bit of the leaf. Now the water and minerals are in the leaves, but you remember that in order to make food, the plant also needs something from the air. This something is a gas called carbon dioxide. If you had a microscope and could look at a piece of a leaf much, much smaller than the head of a pin, you would see something like this. Each leaf has thousands of tiny openings which let in the carbon dioxide. Now the leaf has all of the materials it needs. It has carbon dioxide from the air. and water and minerals from the ground. What happens now? How are these materials made into food? No one knows exactly how it happens, but we do know about one of the things that a leaf uses in making food. It's the part of the leaf that makes it green, the part called chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is the machinery that makes the food. There is still one more thing that a plant needs: sunlight. Sunlight is the power that runs this wonderful machinery. Every day all over the earth, chlorophyll and sunlight work together. They work to turn water and carbon dioxide into food. And what about minerals? Plants use minerals in many other ways, but some of the minerals go into the food making too. Do their work in the dark at night? No. Only when there is light can leaves make food. Of course, many plants don't store food. But think of all the foods that you and I love.